Welcome to the Illuminati Broadcast. I'm your host, David Moore. Welcome. I'm the all-seeing eye. What's up? Okay, so there's this anime called Shaman King Flowers. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But they have a lot of spiritual warfare going on there. And that's kind of how the Illuminati championships work usually. Is that you have a shaman, which is like a really high-powered mortal on this plane, on this realm, that is fighting for this security to control over humanity and how heaven and hell works. So my character always wins, so he always gets to make the next theme, the next story. He basically is like class president and always gets picked. Even if he doesn't run for it, he still gets picked and he always still takes it. And even if he tries to pass it on to somebody else, he still ends up doing the job. So he's always in charge. The mannequins know that, so they're always like, oh geez, we gotta follow his rules again. But like, let's keep doing it so that way we can get to a point where we can cover ourselves in this, because you need money to be able to cover yourself in your own lies almost. So they're like, well, we're making more money than him, so we have enough money to be able to like block him out. In a sense, you know how Adam and Eve hide from God in the garden? They kind of do the same thing, but with money. Because they're like, well, the demon lord can't stop us, right? But the demon lord does stop them, destroys them, but money is something that kind of makes the game move. Like, it keeps the game flowing, because the demon lord needs opposition, and the money's not afraid to be like, all right, like, I work for the demon lord. Let's remember this part though in the game. The money works for the demon lord. It belongs to the demon lord, and it does whatever he wants. So if the demon lord's like, okay, I don't want them using my money anymore, they can't use it, and they get stuck, and they get bankrupt, and they get ruined. But right now in the game, the demon lord is allowing this flow of money, so that way they can spend a lot of it and use a lot of it and get everything that they want, because he wants them to be like really high up there, so that way they can kind of crash and burn all the way up there. It's kind of like an experiment. It could go bad, because like if they make a lot of money and they're doing whatever they want and the demon lord can't stop them and the magic's not working on them, then we might have a problem. It's like letting the cockroaches go free and they keep making more cockroaches. That would be really, really bad. You have to kind of get rid of them then and there, and you know, that's going to take forever too. So yeah, but it's a lot of experimentation the demon lord has to do, and kind of trust his abilities. Whether it's right or wrong, we won't know until it happens. But yeah, so
Hard.
That's why you get tired, because mannequins be taking all your energy, all your oxygen, taking all your brain cell. Okay, so I asked a question. Yes, Snorlax up in here. I asked a question, alright? I was like, alright, so there's 4 domains, and you basically are under a domain. You either have Aphrodite, Ares, Hermes, or Artemis. And somebody was like, I think I would be somebody that doesn't believe in those gods, so I wouldn't choose a side. And I'm like, okay, that's definitely Artemis, because Artemis is illusion. And the point of Artemis is to create a whole bunch of people that don't believe in anything really. Like, sure, they can be like conspiracy theorists, or they're really smart or understand things, but they don't pick a side. And that's perfect for Artemis, because he's like, oh, he don't even have to do anything to control you. He just knows that you're gonna be there doing his thing, but you won't even know how. You don't know why. We're gonna have to kind of tap into that one, because I feel like that's an important thing. So in England, you have a thing.
Why is Henry an illusion?
Why is he an illusion? Because he's under this notion, or this idea, that there's no God, that there's no higher power that can control all of these things, and he doesn't believe that he's influenced by any of them. But everybody is influenced. But if you don't believe it, then you're probably influenced by Artemis, because that one's the one that's the strongest right now. that's a water sign, and that's what people are. We're just a whole bunch of water, and Artemis is just pulling us along, and we can't control it. We can't do anything about it. It is what it is. Just like you have a king of England, he has his commonwealth, and they have no choice but to worship him. They could say, that's not my king, but at the end of the day, he's still the king. So that's where he would be under Artemis, because that's his job. That's why Artemis exists, to say, you all belong to me. Hermes, he doesn't care. He's like, if you want to be an actor, I can teach you. Ares is like, I don't care. You want to do music? Let's go do music. But Artemis is like, no, I'm always the king. I'm always the best. I'm always going to have this money. I am here and I struggle and fight to maintain this position. And I have to deal with all these commonwealth. So all these other mannequins from all the realms, I have to deal with all of them, even my own. And I have to make these decisions, and I have to let these other mannequins run wild that believe that they can do whatever they want. So that's scary. That's scary, yo. Let's see. Yeah, we're 6 minutes in, and it feels like I've been here for a whole hour. 7 o'clock. I think we're in the hour of Saturn now, right? Let's look in the little book. Because next will be the hours of Mars. But what's before Mars? Moon? Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Still need to put a bookmark on this. Let's see. At 7 o'clock we have... it's Tuesday. Oh, dang, we're all the way up in Jupiter. We're in the energy of Jupiter. Yeah, drop my bookmark.
Any bad words?
Yeah, I wrote bad words on the other side of this card. Alright. Yeah, I have these, like, Mexicans that I'm living with, and I do this thing where I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. I don't understand you. And if they speak English, I'm like, I still don't understand what you're trying to say, because it's not English. Alright, so Tuesday, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Jupiter. This is the hour of wealth. This ties in with Artemis, so that's why you can see Jupiter as being the king of the gods, because obviously he's ruling over all these courts. Even though Venus is connected with the king and Aries is connected with the king energy, because the sun is in southeast and Jupiter is in northwest. I don't know. He's controlling all these guys, but this sun energy is, I guess, left open up for debate in a way. I don't know. We're going to have to figure that one out. Alright, so if we're in the hour of Jupiter and we're looking at wealth, so we're looking at opportunities for wealth or ensured visions. So being able to see things, a grander plan for the future. I suppose, like, what could I see for the future for my characters and mannequins and everybody in there? So for my future that I want my character to destroy all the mannequins and the other champions and release the gods that are chained up to the Illuminati game. So that way, like, Venus can go bring love to the world, Hermes can go bring inspiration and adventure to the world, Artemis can go back to, like, bringing nature back to the world and love of the nature, and then Aries going back to, like, restore this, like, stability of society. Right now I feel like all the gods are chained up and being used a certain way that they can't really express themselves, so then they channel themselves through these archons, so these Illuminati champions. So my character's being channeled by Aphrodite, there's Hermes, Ares, Artemis, and it's kind of like those gods are forced to channel themselves through these characters, but it's okay. It's like a sacrifice they're willing to make to, like, experience that pain along with them. So Aphrodite's probably like, "Ow, this really is not fun," but whatever. I don't really think that. I don't know. We'll work on it. All right. So let's see. Monday, Tuesday. What time is it? 7 o'clock. So it's Netos. So at 7 o'clock, the magic word is Netos. Oop. And then Tuesday is Sachiel for Jupiter, the hour of Jupiter. So we're gonna put the fan that way because we don't want to smell no farts. Okay. So Jupiter, Sachiel. Obviously, Sachiel works on Jupiter's day. So let's see. Thursday is Zadkiel, Sachiel, Jupiter, Tin, and Blue. All right. Yeah. So we got this Angel Sachiel. I kind of wanted to do some like angelic magic. So lately, when I've been using my spells, I kind of use the angels' energies. But angels are so temperamental. Like the demons, they'll do it. They'll go through the pain. They'll do whatever it takes. But the angels, they're just like. I'm like, come on, you guys got to prove your love, or else you guys are not gonna go to heaven. Like, I'm not gonna let you guys in my realm when it comes down to it. At the end of the day. So it's like, are the angels going to do it? Are they going to do the work for the demon lord? Are they going to obey him? I hope so, because my demon lord can destroy angels. I've had dreams where I go into the heavenly realms and I go and challenge the angels and I rip them apart. It's really easy. Well, for me, not for you, probably. But I'm like, who do you want to worship? These like Illuminati archons? Or do you want to worship me? Hello. Okay, so in the reality of the world, let's look at it this way. The demon lord, my character, is just somebody that has these ideals and he wants to conquer the earth and all of humanity because he has nothing, and at the same time he feels like it's owed to him, so he comes up with all these reasons why the world belongs to him. And then you have the character Artemis, and he really owns the world. Really, he does. He has a lot of money, he's wealthy, he has power, he has family lineage, etc. And then you have Hermes. He's an actor, he's famous, he has lots of fans, he's like always working on his image and working on films, and that creates a lot of production for the world. And then you have Aries. He's always making music and helping other musicians and like starting a family and all these other things. These all have families except for my character, the demon lord. So in the reality of things,
The cat is back.
the cat is back. So in the reality of things, what is kind of tying this all together? So my character is just a crazy sorcerer doing all these things to attack these other people living in this world, and that's a bad thing. So my character is a villain. And these are good people because obviously they're not really Illuminati. They're just a singer and an actor and a politician monarch dude. They're not evil people. They're just normal people. They're not mannequins. They're just like whatever. The people that follow them are just normal humans. And then my character is just as delusional and making this all up, right? So yeah, that's one side of the coin. You know, just this pretend fakeness, and my character's either A, just crazy, or they're really good at coming up with ideas for a story that is never going to make it. So then, for me, that's one scary side of the coin that the mannequins play off. So that's kind of their mask that they live in. And that's the mask that they use to like blindside them in a way, to be like, the demon lord is losing, the demon lord doesn't exist. And then it kind of reflects and echoes back. And then when the demon lord sees it, he's like, I guess you're right. I guess I am just a crazy nobody. And I guess you guys are just normal humans. You're not mannequins. And I guess you are not Illuminati. You're just, really hardworking individuals with talent and inspiration and trying to share the world with some gifts. And you're a really good monarch and you help politicians and you do all these good things for the earth. And I'm just some psycho that wants to ruin it, but I can't do nothing because I have no power. So that's where my character gets a little bit of this dynamic with these masks that the mannequins wear. But my character always comes back down to earth and is like, no, they are crazy. They are mannequins. I'm not the crazy one. They are. And if I'm crazy, I'm going to be the crazy villain. I'm going to destroy them with my magic. But he has to be careful because he has to follow all these rules because he doesn't want to get locked up or put away. So he has to like kind of fight through these realms and make it all the way to Artemis and destroy him without getting in trouble. So maybe it's like this little bratty prince that wants to become king, and he has to destroy these other, the real king of the real earth, Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Say that I asked Kat the question.
Alright, I asked Kat a question. So I asked her, how does this work? Alright, I said, what do you think about the fact that the mannequins wear their mask? They kind of blindside themselves and they're like, alright, the demon lord doesn't exist. the Illuminati doesn't exist, we're not mannequins, we're humans. All that kind of stuff is crazy to think about. Like, we're just average humans trying to live our life. I think that's one of the main goals of the mannequin, is to like live as normal as a life as possible, because kind of how like Kat said, you can take the blue pill or the red pill, and they choose the blue pill, which is like this illusion, and you just want to live a life that's complacent, and that's important to the mannequin because it doesn't want to live in a world where it loses. It wants to live in a world where it exists. I mean, like everybody does, right? Everybody lives in a world that they want to exist. But I think with the mannequin, it's like so tied to this like survival instinct. It's a really good survivor. I remember reading books called Animorphs when I was younger, and it's just like these kids that transform into animals and they like fight aliens. And there's these aliens that look like centaurs that are dying out because...
Is there a TV series on that?
Yeah, TV series on it. There's these... I forgot what they're called. Yorks or Yikes or something with a Y. But they're these slimy little slugs that slip into your ear and control your brain, and they have a host. So they control the host, and the host is in there screaming, being tortured. And then the Yerk... I think it's called a Yerk. And it's like a slug, and it's like an alien, and it just controls the person. And sometimes they'll like slip out, and like they'll live in the pools, and they have feelings and thoughts. That's exactly kind of how the mannequin works in a way, because like the longer it can live like a normal life without being noticed that it's a mannequin, it can make more mannequins, and the more mannequins it makes and the longer it lives, it's kind of like a fuck you to God, like haha, like we exist, like we're doing evil things on the earth and you can't stop us. Like, they can say that they believe in God, that they worship God, that they love him, or they can say they don't believe in him and that they don't have any part of it. But at the end of the day, like deep down inside, a part of them, that shadow aspect, is saying, damn you, God, like I don't believe in you. Hold on one sec, I gotta blow my nose. Alright, so Kat gave me permission to ask her a question. Okay, so we have two parts of ourselves, and we're trying to work on a shadow work. So we have the part that everybody sees, that we show everybody. So that sometimes that could be like a moody person, or that could be a happy person. But then there's a part of us that's deep down inside that we have to like pull out of ourselves and look at and be like, this is who I am, and I want to work on this. And it'll tell us things like, I'm really scared of this, or I don't like to try these things, or I've always wanted to do this and I've always wanted to do that, but I don't think I'm good enough. That's shadow work. So, but that's like really difficult to like see your past traumas, right? Like maybe for me, like, okay, I wasn't really abused when I was younger, so like when I work with my shadow, it's not that difficult. But some people were abused when they're younger, like they get molested or something bad happens to them, and it's traumatic. And then once they see it, they're like, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to go deep into that. I don't want to figure out why I feel this way. So that's why you kind of do the shadow work. But with the mannequin, I think that it doesn't acknowledge its shadow. So it puts on the mask. It sees who it is to everybody else. And the more that it tells this lie that, like, either that they believe in God or that God doesn't exist, but they're really destined for hell. But you don't really have, like, that concept of hell, do you, huh? Like, you don't believe in a heaven and a hell? Mm-hmm.
I'm Buddhist, so there is a hell.
Oh, okay, yeah. Buddhism does have hell. Yeah. Okay, do you remember what I was trying to ask you, though? About
You're
the...
trying to ask me about the shadow work and what I thought of it.
Okay, yeah. What do you think about
So,
that?
Yeah, it's true that something was taught to me like way back when I was a teenager, is you always have to look out and see what you want to do, what you want to work on, and like you said, everything is quite agreeable.
Right.
I don't think they call it shadow work, they call it something else.
Yeah, I guess it would be like inner self workings, or like working on your conscious or something. But so the mannequin, this is, I think, an important part about the mannequin and shadow work is that you will do a lot of shadow work on yourself. So you'll be like, I gotta work on this, I gotta do this, I gotta try this. The mannequin, it sees you doing all that work, and it takes all of that very quickly, and then puts it into their own life, but they're only putting it on their outside. So the shadow doesn't get worked on, but their outside does. So it's this illusion that they're working on the outside. So they see you like you went through all this trauma and you're fixing all this pain that you went through when you were younger. And then the mannequin is like, okay, I saw that they're fixing themselves. I'm fixed too now because I'm fixing myself. Yeah, so it's like, let's say when I'm younger and I put like a spike bracelet on my arm, and I'm doing it because I'm gothic. And then another kid does it, but he's only doing it because he noticed that I'm getting some kind of attention from people and that people are talking to me and asking me questions about it. So they want to be like noticed or seen, and they want to be a part of a conversation. So they start wearing spike bracelets, and then the other mannequins start wearing spike bracelets, and then everybody's wearing spike bracelets, and they're only doing it because of the attention that they're going to get. So they're working on the outside. But when I did it because I always think like that I like to be in the shadows. I like to be in the darkness. And sometimes I want to try something scary. I don't know if I wanted to protect me, but I wanted to show people that I'm hurting on the inside and that I feel pain, but I want to show them on the outside. So like it was a way for me to translate that. But then the mannequin, it sees that you do all this hard work, and then it takes advantage of that and uses it on their mask. So the mannequin never works on their shadow. Their shadow's always really savage and evil and brutal. And they build up this cocoon almost. So they're like, all right, a mannequin has kids, and then it has a wife, and then it has a mom and a dad, and then it has bosses and employees. But it's always putting up this front, and they're always showing each other their masks, and they're stuck like concrete or glue, and they don't really break. They don't expand. So then you never really get to see them. For you?
Yeah.
No, because if you were a mannequin, you would do things to make other people satisfied in a way, like
a people pleaser.
A people pleaser, a brown noser, a people pleaser, somebody that's like, oh, I want to make, like when I look, okay, so I kind of don't look at normal people, but when I look at the mannequin, I notice them a lot because they irritate me. But a normal person doesn't irritate me the same way. So with a mannequin, we have one named Snorlax. But what I noticed with Snorlax is that it does things like for love or something, like for the strange effect of love that it doesn't have. And it's kind of sad. Now that I think that's the main strength of a mannequin too, is to make you feel bad for it so you don't hurt it. And kind of like the demons, they're like, oh, but my mommy is going to miss me if you hurt me. And then it doesn't even have a mom. So the mannequins, they're like, this mannequin in particular, the Snorlax, when it watches TV and I see that it's like admirizing these women, and I'm just like, but you could be that. You are that. Like, you have to kind of say that, like express it. But then when it does, it's like, it doesn't happen. It's like, it's not, it does. I don't think it has confidence in itself, but it has a confidence to be mean. It has a confidence to be cruel and evil, but it doesn't have the confidence to be, and it does nice things for other people, but it tries to please them and brown nose them, and it like claws at them, and it's like, please like me. And it's so irritating to see somebody like beg for attention and love that way. And it's like, no, that's mannequin behavior. I'm sorry. And I mean, that can happen to anybody. But in the case of a mannequin, it's like, if it like looks at things that it wants, and it kind of feeds itself in a strange way. Like, I look at things for inspiration. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. But for the mannequin, it's kind of sad. It's like, it's its only hope. Like, if I lived out in the wilderness, I could live forever without a cell phone, without any of these things. But the mannequin, it needs these things to survive. It needs these things to live, or else it'll start breaking. And it's like, they don't want to let go. It's like a baby that's stuck to the monkey's mother, like, and it won't let go. And even after it gets big, it won't let go until the mom is dead. And then it has to find something else to leech off of, like a host. And that shit's scary. But then with another person, like, will Kat obviously is, she goes out on her own. She does the dangerous stuff on her own, like things that take bravery and courage and energy and planning, and like sometimes you can do it and sometimes you can't. Like when I went to New York, I had to prepare and I had to make myself ready, and I did it all by myself, and it was frightening and scary, but I did everything I could to get there and find a way and do things. But the mannequin, let's say, it'll probably use its body. It'll try to use other people. It'll try to use sympathy. It'll try to do all these other things. But it's like, it just sucks because it takes the pleasure out of it for us. So like me growing up, I didn't want to be spoiled because all these other kids were spoiled. So I was like, I don't want to put my mom through that. But like I have to beg too. I have to be spoiled too. But like I'm seeing all these spoiled kids and it's not fair. Like they get to be spoiled and I don't, like, because I don't want to be a spoiled kid. Like I'm not crying for the things that I want that the other kids are crying for. And that's what the mannequin does. It takes your opportunities by, like, you're like, man, I want to cry for this. And then the mannequin starts crying for what they want. And it's like, it's so fake that you don't even want to do it because you don't want to be fake. But you're not fake. It's just that you don't want to copy them. That's it. Period. Like, when I want to be a girl, I don't want to be a girl. Unique. Yeah, when I'm around, like, other people that are girls, I just don't want to be a girl because I'm like, no, like, I'll just be a boy, or I'll be a whatever I want to be. But it just sucks because, like, I can never do what I want to do because they're always watching. The mannequins are always watching and judging you. Oh, they judge you, the crap out of you. Like, I look at them and they would always ask me things like, why don't you be more of a girl? Why don't you let your hair grow out? Why don't you wear more dresses? Why don't you wear... And it's like, why don't you mind your own damn business and let me do my own thing? Like, I wear makeup when I want to wear makeup. I wear a dress when I want to wear a dress. Like, I do what I want to do when I want to do it. I don't do it to please you. I'm definitely not going to ever do anything to please a mannequin. That's for show. Like, if you're a mannequin and you're watching this, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for myself. But when a mannequin does things for itself, it's scary. Because, I don't know, I think I've already gave enough examples. But let's see. Let's see a mannequin doing something for itself. A celebrity. We could see a celebrity. They do things for themselves, and usually they're mannequins. We'll use Doja Cat or Nicki Minaj or Cardi B. They were strippers. They were sex workers. And that's a sad thing, but they used it to their advantage, and they kept going up the ladder. And now that they have all this money, whether you want to believe the conspiracy theories or not, but they still spread that sexual energy, and that's the only thing they have to use as a leverage to get what they want in this world. And I mean, you know, more power to you. I'm all about sex positivity, or however you want to portray yourself, or whatever you want to do. I don't want to do it, but you can. But that's something that a mannequin does, is that it's very linear. Like me, I can't be that linear. Like, I have a lot of things that I like, and I have to just give my time and energy to certain things at a certain time. But the mannequin, that's why they're such efficient workers, because they can see one thing and they can go for it, and they don't care who they hurt around them, and they have to destroy other people to feed their energy. That's how they get their energy. That's why they leech off of you to keep going and going. Me, I can't leech off people, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Like, I can't leech off my mom or my dad or my family, and especially because I push them away as much as I can so that they don't see how much I'm struggling, because I don't want them to help me. Because if they help me, then they become part of the picture, and I don't want them to be part of the picture. Alright, so we're going to ask Kat a question, and then we'll resume real quick. Hold on. Alright, Kat. So you're in Castle Demon Lord in the game that I'm making. And you could do whatever you want. Alright, so there's no limitations. There's no expectations. You're allowed to choose what you want to do in the game. So when you land in that world, like let's say you're falling from the sky and you see those 4 stars, okay? You see a green one, a purple one, a red one, and a blue one. And they're all shining, but they all have different things that you want. One has love, but there's like this kind of truth to it that looks like a lot of work. And then you have one that is red, and it looks like you can get more stronger and more powerful, but you have to like really like destroy things around you. You see the purple one, which is like very calm, very serene, but you can see that there's a lot of stuff going on. Like you can get a lot of things there. And
That's
then,
the one I want.
yeah. And then you see a blue one that's like moving a lot, but it's like very controlled and there's a lot of abundance. So you can choose like which one to fall on. Which one would you fall
Purple.
on? The purple one?
Purple's my favorite color.
Oh, okay. Yeah, purple's a beautiful color. So Kat falls into Hermes' realm and she sees this guy. Obviously, she's gonna hate him, but there's this guy with the wings on his hat, wings on his sandal, but he's very quick and he doesn't really interact with his followers. If we're gonna be honest, he doesn't do that. So he kind of just glides off into the distance, but he's still there. But she keeps falling, so she doesn't. You're not gonna interact with him, huh? Like you wouldn't talk to him if you saw him.
Hi, how are you?
That's pretty noble. Okay, so she's falling, she passes through him, or he passes by, and then she ends up. And you kind of have a choice, alright? So you have like this maiden, and she's in a field with a lot of flowers and plants, and there's like a whole bunch of girls just like running around doing beautiful things with their lives. And then you see another one where there's this forest of like satyrs and they're having like fun drinking and partying and just doing whatever they want with all these other girls and guys, and it's just like a botchery of craziness. And then you see another one where there's like these cows everywhere and like a society and a castle, and you see some kind of civilization. Which one would you fall into?
The castle would be the best bet, but I go in the flower field.
Okay, so Kat falls into the flower fields, lands safely. She's surrounded by women. It's like a very cultural thing where it's like everybody has a purpose in that world. So some are picking flowers, some are like making different kinds of things. There's just a lot of abundance, but it's very calm, serene, and kind of like structured where it's not a. And they're having fun, but it's not being ungraceful. There's a grace to it. It's very cultured and very clean and nice and serene. So that's interesting, okay? So we're going to pause the game real quick. Alright, so that's kind of cool, because, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Muses. They're the Greek gods that are, like, they make all the stuff for the world, but they're, like, 7 women. And okay, so they make everything for the world, basically, like music, movies, art, dance, everything you can imagine. They create inspiration for the world. And then you have this story about Persephone and Hades. Have you heard that?
No.
Okay, so there's this goddess named Demeter. She's the goddess of the earth and growing food, so everything grows because of her. And she has this beautiful daughter named Persephone. And while Persephone's out picking flowers and having fun with the muses and the nymphs and all the girls, Hades sees her from the depths of the earth, of hell. And he rides out with his horse and kidnaps Persephone and takes her to hell. And then he marries her. So a lot of stories is called like the abduction of Persephone. But he feeds her like a fruit and she eats some seeds, and those seeds like bind her to hell, but she only ate 6 of them, so she's allowed to go back to the earth every other 6 months. So that's why you have winter, summer, spring, and fall, because she's going back and forth between the realms. And the mother gets sad and she gets back to life. So that's interesting. But you never heard of those stories?
No.
Okay. See, that's pretty cool. I like that, because usually everybody, that's a very popular story right now. A lot of people know that story. But a mannequin would definitely know that story right off the bat. I'm just gonna let you know, because it's trending. Things like that are trending, the mannequin knows it off the back of its head. But also, if they don't know, and it was a mannequin, how would you be able to tell? You could tell it's not because Kat wasn't interested in it. You could tell because if a mannequin heard about it, I don't know. I'm not feeling no mannequin vibes right now, so we're good. But okay, so that's a pretty cool story. It's about you have like earth energy, so maybe you would be somebody with like earth energy. Could you see yourself like as an Amazon?
Like a jungle Amazon?
Not like South America Amazon, but an Amazoness. So in Greek, do you know what an Amazon is?
No. I don't know much Greek mythology
See, Amazons
anymore.
are really popular.
I used to at one time, and it just went out of my head.
That's kind of cool though. So Amazons were warriors, so they were like stronger than men.
Yeah.
But they were women. Yeah, they were cool. I would definitely be an Amazon. I think I would definitely be an Amazon for sure. Like Wonder Woman is actually an Amazon. Very powerful, very, not afraid to be a woman kind of thing. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's see. We have an example of Cat falling into that world. Let's kind of think like a mannequin real quick, and let's see if they were falling down. But the thing is with the mannequins, like sometimes the gods want them, sometimes they don't. Let's say this is something the gods want. A mannequin's falling. It's a beautiful girl. And Hermes sees her and he's like, ooh, like I could use her if she was my fan. So he comes up to her and he grabs her hand and he takes her down to the earth realm. And he's like, what would you choose? Do you want to be in the flowery fields? Do you want to hang out with the satyrs? Or do you want to be in the castle with the rest of the royalties? And we could split it from there, okay? Let's say she wanted to go with the satyrs. Then he takes her to the satyrs and there's like this debauchery of sex and like all this like lust. And then Hermes feeds off of that energy. Now he has a mannequin that he can feed off of. All right, and then let's say he takes the other one to the castle and she's living like a lavish princess, but she's making a lot of money for Hermes. And Hermes can feed off of that too, so he can like seduce her in ways that he can like take advantage of her. So basically in the shadow realm, these archons, they go and then they seduce each other and they do like witchcraft with each other that is like sexual in nature. They could be anything. They could be like hurting somebody's feelings, or they could be inspiring them, or they could be motivating them, or they could just be kind of, hurting them, or they could be using sex as a way to control the person and get what they want from them. And in the real world, these two girls, one could be seen as like a teacher, and now she has all these fantasies and she like really supports Hermes, and she supports his career in the real life by watching his movies and buying things that have his merchandise. And then this other girl, she's like always hooking up with these guys, but she's dreaming about Hermes, and she's like sharing that energy, so she's creating more mannequins and infusing them with more of that lust, and then they have more of the mannequin creations that worship him. And if they don't worship him, they might worship Ares or Artemis, but they're definitely not going to worship Aphrodite because they're already filled with sin. So they're just corrupted. It's like corrupted data that you just keep spreading around. Ooh, let's do that. Okay, I got a good one. Okay. So then Hermes, he's flying around and then he sees Cat and he's like, wait a minute. Hold up. That one's difficult because every time I try to go into that realm, something crazy happens. Like sometimes I'll go over there and I can get away with it and I can blend in and I can like abduct a few girls here and there with my magic. I can seduce them. But then when Cat got there, I had to fight Cat. Cat was an Amazoness. So like what am I supposed to do? Like, okay, so he's the god of that realm, but you have power over him. What would you do? Would you fight him? Would you destroy him? Like, how would you reason with that? What would you do to defend yourself? Like, what is going on in your head? Like, what would you think?
If he's taking the girls?
If you notice that, like, hey, like...
destroy him.
Yeah. Definitely destroy him, for sure. Because then you know that, like...
Because if you fight him, he's just going to keep coming back.
Oh, okay.
Until you notice him, and then you fight him again. You just keep coming back and back and back.
Yeah, but that's the thing with the archons or the gods. They can keep coming back because they have all these other people that worship him. So every time he dies, he comes back to life. Kind of like Dracula. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just regenerate because they have so much spiritual energy that they're siphoning from their followers.
But I would think from the time to say you fight him, the time he'll be back is shorter than the time that he gets re-resurrected.
So there's time to do what?
And be back.
So he
So
has.
there's more time for peace in between.
Oh, gotcha. So it's worth the fight. It's worth
Yeah.
the battle because there's enough time that.
There's more peaceful time than if you just
Right.
fought them, right? It'd be short versus longer.
Yeah. Okay. See. Okay, that's a good thing, but a little bit of the problem is that they regenerate very quickly, and that takes a lot of energy out of them. So a lot of their followers end up dying because of that. So they're taking too much blood from their followers. They're taking too much spirit from them, so they end up dying. And then he does it again, but then it costs him more and more every time he keeps coming back. So you're battling, but they can keep coming back as fast as they want. So that's kind of the difficult part, but you're right. So maybe he wouldn't, because actually, let me put another point in this game. When they fight me, they regenerate fast and they keep going. They don't stop. But when they go after somebody like Cat, they stop and they don't go back to that same dimension. I'm not really sure why, but I think it's because, well, one, for Cat doesn't love Hermes, but Hermes loves me and I love Hermes. So there's this weird energy that allows them to like travel faster and over and over and over again, even at the cost of their own followers. But it's worth it because they know that if they fight me and I fail or I give them what they want, then they still win in a way. But if they were going to go after Cat, they wouldn't really win anything because they're not going to be able to get nothing from her. So they're probably like, boom, oh, damn it. All right, can you guys just make it harder for her? And then like all these people will just try to make it harder for her. But she can choose to go in and out wherever she wants in the realm. But people that are his followers will just make it more difficult. And she's not going to just attack them because they're just their followers. She's probably just going to like try to keep her distance from them, if anything, right? Like, you're not someone that's going to provoke a fight or... Yeah, so... But me, I'm in the Astro, I'm like, oh, those are your followers? Boom. Boom. I'm just blow everything up. But I think because I do that, the whole collective is like, no, 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 no. But with Kat, it's just a little bit more subtle. And plus, her spiritual energy isn't so much higher. It's like kind of like a beacon. So everybody has like a beacon on them, like how much energy they output. So Kat's energy is probably not like bright and super shiny where they're like, oh, we need it, we need it, we need it. But mine is like super shiny and bright. So they're like, oh, I want that, I want that, I want that. So that's kind of my weakness, I would think, is that my aura is really bright and shiny. Kat might be nice and clean and happy, but it's not necessarily something that they can leech off of. So like if somebody was like really sad or really depressed and they hate themselves and they wish that somebody would come and like rescue them and take advantage of them, then that's something that the vampire is going to want. So he's going to be like, ooh, like that's the one I want. But if it was somebody that's like, no, I'm confident with myself, I just got to figure things out, they're going to be like, oh, that's difficult because I can't do anything to influence them. So it'd be very hard for Hermes to try to seduce, because we got to remember that these archons use seduction as their main weapon to control others. Whether it's a boy or a girl, they're going to use what they got to do. With the boys, it's easy for them because they're like, oh, I just got to look cool and tell them what to do and they'll listen, because boys do that. But with the girls, you got to kind of like, you know, which I think is unfortunate, because when I would dress up as a female and I would go out, I was always fetishized or sexualized. And I hated it because it was like, that's all the guys would think is like just sex. And I'm like, I'm not like that. Like, I want something else for my life, and that's all you want, and I don't want to be part of that. So these guys don't work like that. But to be honest, when I go out there and I see the real world, girls are like, they love it when guys do that, which is really gross and sad, because I wasn't brought up like that. My family isn't like that. So like, I see these girls and they like it when guys just go up on them and do all these nasty things, and then these girls, they be doing nasty things too. So it's like, they like that energy. They like it when you sin. And being gay is not a sin. Being trans is not a sin. Those aren't sins. The sin is when you're doing something to kind of get attention for, I don't know, other people to like you, to want to take advantage of you. That's when it gets to be a sin. Okay, so let's kind of pause a little bit, roll back a little. Is there anything there that you kind of see that's like weird about the story or something that you can like comment on?
No, nothing to comment on.
So I'm a sucker because I used to like Hermes. But there was a point in time where I was like, no, I don't like Hermes because he's like a player. Like, I don't want to be with no player. But then after a while, he's like, look, I can do anything for you. I could be any guy you want. I can be like moody. I can be serious. I can like take our relationship very monogamous. And then I was like, all right.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Don't believe everything you hear. But I did. I was like, you know what? I'll give you a chance. Go for it. And he did his work. He was like, I love you. I want you. I'll give you everything you need. And he was giving me all this stuff. But in reality, it was all just a dream. He was off in the sunset with another girl, living his life, getting money, getting more fame, making movies. And I'm over here just like poor, living in a box, eating cat food off the street, sucking the D for the money. Is that how you want to live? Okay. No, it's not how I want to live. But like, see, that's what I get for trusting Hermes, right? That's what I get for trusting this mannequin. You let a mannequin take over, you're done. Because the mannequin don't care what happened to you. He's just like, good, worship me. Give me all your love and your attention so that way everybody sees how beautiful I am. And then the minute you... Oh, this is another thing too. Because mannequins have different tactics. So like for a minute, like when I was focused on him, it was really hard for his followers to look at him. Because I was there and I was so bright, it would blind them. But then the minute I let him go and do his own thing, all the mannequins wanted him again. Because they were like, oh my god, he's free, he's single, I want him. I couldn't have him before because we kept getting destroyed every time we followed him. And he was making movies after that. He was like, I got it all now. I used you for everything you had. So, lesson learned, right? What do you think about my character so far? From how I explained it in the game, Castle Demon Lord. Do you think the Demon Lord's a dum-dum? Yeah, the Demon Lord is a dum-dum. Let's be real.
Yep.
Do you think it's wrong for the Demon Lord to want to get revenge?
No.
Do you think it's okay for the Demon Lord to get revenge?
That's a great spot.
Yeah, it's a gray spot. Ooh, that's why the Demon Lord do it, because he sees the gray spot and he's like, I don't care, I'm gonna color all over the lines. Alright. So now we got a little bit of an idea. We got a little bit of how things are running. Okay, we have like maybe 5 more minutes before this is over. So let's go with real quick with Ares. Alright. He's the strong man. He's a musician. He's handsome. He has all these girls and guys over him. He's super famous. Lots of music. Cat's like, no. Nope. That's what I did too. I was like, I don't want to be with you. I don't like you. I don't think you're anything. Like, you're not worth my time. Like, I gotta go save the world, and you just keep getting in the way. You let people do bad things, and I don't want to be part of that. So I will run off and do my own thing. Guess who's coming back from the dead? Okay. But... Okay, so this is what Ares did, okay? He's the god of war. He got music. He got power, okay? But he's in this world, he's a musician. And I've dated a couple musicians. They're something. They make your life a living hell. So, but they got good music. I'll tell you that much. Alright, so there was this one guy, okay? And then the more time he would write me music. Ares would write me music. He would be like, I love you. I want to be with you. All these things. But it's just like, it never really happened. But it was just a beautiful fantasy that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to fall in love with him. I can't wait to be with him. It's going to feel so good when we're finally together. But I also kept him at bay because I was like, I don't trust him because he has all these girls. Yeah, Snorlax was running around right now making earthquakes. Oh, I hope you guys heard that. Yeah, so I was like, I don't trust Ares. He's gonna, like, what is he gonna do? Like, he's just out there sleeping with all these girls. I can't trust him. Like, celebrity guys, what do they get? Groupies. When you're a rock star, you get groupies, right? That ain't good. We don't want groupies because groupies are nasty. They just spread diseases. Unless you're a groupie, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna give Ares a chance. But after a while, I was like, fine, I'll give Ares a chance. I'll see what it's like. And then boom, Ares was working his magic because he was in love with me. Hermes was in love with me too, but Ares was a different kind of love. He was like, doing some strong magic. Some strong magic. Okay, can I say something scary?
What?
Okay, but you don't gotta believe it. But let's say I was on the internet
Uh-huh.
and I would watch him, like we would talk and hang out, but he would be talking back to me and hanging out with me. But it was kind of like through YouTube. Would you believe it? Could you believe that idea? Like, not believe it, can you imagine it?
It's possible.
It is possible, huh?
Yes.
It's because there would be moments I'll just be sitting there and I'll be like just telepathically talking to him. He'll be telepathically talking to me, and I'll be just feeling this energy. But that's what mannequins can do. Some psychosis stuff that like make you imagine something that's not really happening, but it really is happening. There was moments when he would say my name, all these other things. Like, it's just crazy. And I would be like, am I tripping? Is this some CIA stuff going on? But I'm like, no, this is real. This is really happening. So Ares did that. But I think my character is so strong that it was like, I gotta destroy him. Like, I gotta destroy all of this. Because if these gods are the reason why I can't level up in life, like, my character wants better for their life. But if it's spending all this time wishing to be saved, wishing for these guys to come into his life, like, come into my life, come save me, I want to be with you.
Is
like,
that like being a mannequin?
is that like being a mannequin? No, for me it's a little bit more of a princess thing. Like Princess Zelda's like, Link, come save me. Like, you got the power, let's go. And Link is like, all right, I'll come save you. Boom, 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 boom. Saves Princess Zelda. That's an amazing story right there. But then me, I'm like, please come save me. And they're like, I'm famous. Why am I gonna save you? You want me to go down there where the little people live? You want me to? And then people think I'm straight. You think I want them to know that I'm gay? See, that's these guys right here, Ares and Hermes. They're like, wait a minute, we're not gay. Like, we got a career. What do you have? Just love? That's it? That's all? So I love you, you love me, that's it? Like, I don't know, let me think about it. Okay, from your point of view, what is the Demon Lord? What do you see in that situation? Like, is the Demon Lord dumb? Like, what's going on? Like, is that manipulation?
Deluded.
Or delusional?
Delusional.
So these guys are really good at making me delusional. Yes, they are. And that's what happens with love. Because my mama would always say, don't give nobody a piece of your heart, because they're going to take that shit. They're going to take your heart and they're going to use it against you. That's what they do. You got to remember that. These, even though they're up there, high-ranking Illuminati members, they're still mannequins at the end of the day, because they let in the mannequin. So now they are mannequins. And they live in the mannequin life, so they must be a mannequin. You are what you eat, right? So we go back to my character. And Kat said earlier, well, doesn't that make you a mannequin? Let's think about this. Because if I was a mannequin and I was doing that, they would say, yes, I want that. I'm going to get that. They would find a way to get that mannequin. They would find a way. They'll be like, okay, come to Hollywood and we'll come get you. They would find a way. And if you did go to Hollywood and then you were there and they were looking for you, and then there happens to be a moment where these guys find you, they're going to let those guys take you. You know why? Because then they're going to be like, oh, well, she thinks that I'm going to have her, or we're going to be together, but I'm just going to send her with these boys, and then she's going to be tortured, and there's going to be this siphon of energy that I can feed off of, because now I have a link between me and this little delectable delight. And if I want her, I'll get her when I want, because I got a whole bunch. That's scary. But if they did that to me, I would end up, well, I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So that'd be like a vampire saying, oh yeah, I want to suck Buffy's blood, and then they find out I'm a slayer and they're like, dang, I can't do that. That's going to be real difficult. What? The time? Oh, 1 more minute. Okay. So, Kat, what do you think about Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Have you seen that?
Oh, I used to watch it all the time when it was on TV.
Okay, so I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So see, we got when you're a Slayer, you know what's going on. All right. So now you can kind of see the Demon Lord is like, oh, they don't really want me because they know that I'll destroy whatever this illusion is, and then they're like, well, dang. So what now? I feel like there's this part of the story that or the game that's like I'm gonna slay these monsters, these archons. I call them archons because they're vampires that are really strong, and I gotta slay them. But I can't do it in the physical realm. I gotta do it in the spiritual realm. That's gonna be difficult, huh? Because they have a lot of energy. How long does it take for Buffy the Vampire Slayer to take out one vampire? It takes her a long time. Well, she can kill the lackeys, but the bosses are usually take a minute, huh? And she couldn't kill Angel, huh?
No.
She kept falling for him, and he was a liar, huh? He was a big liar. He was a big liar. See? And we haven't even touched Artemis yet, because he does everything they do, and then some. So what now? Who's in the wrong now? But I don't care if I'm wrong or right, because I'm going to win this fight. And that's a promise. Because I'm Team Rocket. And I'm ready to blast off. This was the Illuminati Broadcast. I'm David Moore. That was my story. Thank you, Kat, for being co-host. And I hope you guys have something to think about, because you guys had me thinking last night that I was the crazy one. Okay. So now I gotta let you go, because we're gonna have to do some investigation and some shadow work, right? Get to work, you damn mannequins.
Bye bye.